My oldest daughter was born when I was a junior in high school. I can tell you the exact moment that I had. I had come home from a party. My roommate was gone. I cut on the light. I turned and looked in the mirror and I jumped back because I thought someone was in the room. And there was this moment, it was just kind of as close as I can imagine to an out-of-body experience where I didn't recognize myself.
Wow.
So I would have been 19. So my oldest daughter was 2. And what then hit me was, I'm not the kind of man that I would want her to marry. I'm not even the kind of man that I would want her to be around. It was those two things. And I remember dropping to my knees. It was another reminder of the reality of having grown up as a boy without a father, that I don't know what I'm doing.
Can you talk a little bit about your experience having to raise a daughter that has cerebral palsy?
And if I might add to that too, how did you feel when you found that she's going to?
It was devastating, and in that moment, it feels like you have a dream of some kind for your children, and it was like watching that dream die. The truth of the matter is, while I do not wish our life on anyone else, the truth of the matter is I think I'm a better human because I have her.
What's going on, y'all? Thank you so much for tuning back in to a little R&R. We're back out here on the porch again. I'm Rodney, but y'all can call me RJ.
And Rodney Sr.
All right, so father and son, dynamic duo, back at it again. Listen, y'all already know what it is. We're talking about manhood, talking about fatherhood, the ups, the downs, the good, the bad, the ugly, the mistakes, the victories, the tragedies, all of that. Nothing is off limits out here on the back porch. And before we get into the dialogue, before we get into the conversation, I want to acknowledge that we do have a guest here. And this guest is somebody that is like just one of those guys that I always look up to. I mean, it is what it is. You know what I mean? He's my big brother. He's like a mentor to me. And I've made this joke, and I'll make it again. Anytime that I say something that sounds remotely smart or intelligent, it's coming from either dad or this man here. He is an incredible pastor, father, brother, friend, husband, leader, all the above. And he's also working on his doctoral degree. All right, work on that PhD. That PhD is loading soon. Okay. So
not soon enough.
So he's wearing multiple hats, and so for him to grace us with his presence on the back porch, we don't take it lightly. So without further ado, man, I'm going to welcome my big brother, my friend, and my fraternity brother and my dean.
That's right. That's
the Julian Patrick Hobby. Yep, I did the whole thing.
Full government. All right. Great.
I did the whole thing. So welcome to the back porch, bro. Appreciate you popping in.
I'm happy to be back. I've arrived. Something special happened. I got to come back. It's nice when they let you come back.
Hey, man, it wouldn't be the same without you, brother.
Absolutely.
So, bro, like you already know how we do it. We kind of get into it and what we typically talk about. For those that are not familiar with you, give us a rundown of kind of who you are, your backstory. Sure. I know that you're hailing from the great city of Houston, City.
That's right.
All right, Missouri City.
That's right.
Just give us a backstory, your childhood, the whole nine.
All right, so like you said, definitely Most City raised. I usually tell people there's his city, there's your city, there ain't no city like Most City.
Word.
If you know, you know. 2234, 774-89 for the real ones. So I grew up in single parent home. My father passed when I was very young. I'm proud son of Pamela Hobby and the late Willie Lee Hobby Jr. Both are Louisiana natives. My brothers and I are kind of first generation Texans. We grew up all throughout Fort Bend Independent School District. Older brother went to Prairie View. I'm the middle son. I started undergrad at the University of Houston, finished undergrad at Texas Wesleyan, did my master's at Southern Methodist University, and now working on PhD in public theology and community engagement at Hampton University. Shout out to the HBCUs. Younger brother Terrence, he did his undergraduate degree at University of Houston, finished his master's degree at the North Texas. He is now the director of the Jazz Studies program at Booker T. Washington High School for Performing and Visual Arts in Dallas. And I'm married to the best human I know.
Shout out to my sis, okay?
Yeah. Father to 3 amazing daughters.
Yeah.
And continuous learner. It was a non-linear, very circuitous. I would not recommend my path for anybody other than myself.
Very what?
Journey.
What did he say? Very what?
Yeah, non-linear and circuitous.
Circuitous.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, like a circuit.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Hey, don't be surprised when I pull that one out. Okay? That's going in the back pocket. Circuitous.
You know, you just say words confidently. It don't matter if it's true or not. It just is what you just said, like you know it.
Facts. Circuitous.
But I'm happy for the story that I have and the life that is mine, and giving up a long time ago, lamenting the one that I don't have, and just enjoying the one that I do.
That's good. That's good. So, Dad, feel free to jump in whenever you want. So, you mentioned something about your dad, and obviously, like this podcast, like we're talking about fatherhood and marriage and all the things. You mentioned that your father passed when you were young.
Yes.
Right. So, how old were you when your dad passed?
I was, to give full context, I was 2. My older brother was 4, getting ready to turn 5. My younger brother was 2 months.
You okay?
So it was. I don't have any like sense memory of my father. Like I don't have a recall of his voice. I don't really have. What I've told people before is that my memories of my father are 2-dimensional, not 3-dimensional. Like I have pictures, and secondhand stories more than any other like connective memory.
Yeah.
But we were, and it was that, and it was my mom, my brothers, and I against the world from 1985 on.
I know what that's like.
Man. Again, not the journey I recommend for everybody.
So that's, I know that y'all have that in common, losing your dad at a young age, and single mothers raising in your case all boys.
Oh gosh.
Three boys.
Yes.
And in your case,
it was 5 of us.
Yeah, 5 boys.
5 boys, 2 girls.
And 2 girls, right?
Golly.
So 7 kids in one household. In the 50s, 60s, right?
No, not the 50s.
Well, you were born in the 50s.
Oh, that's right. Well, my dad. He passed when let's see, it was 63. So
Okay, got you. So in the 60s, right? And I can just imagine the type of woman that you have to be to lose your spouse. Like, do you know how long your parents were married before your dad passed?
Let's see. It would have been when she had I want to say it was 11, so maybe 14 years, something around there. They had to have gotten married around 73 or 4. So maybe not even that. Maybe it was closer to like 10, 11 years.
Yeah, it's long enough, man.
Oh yeah.
To feel that.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so, like, I would love to hear both of y'all's point of view of what you think it took for your mothers to do what they had to do and to be strong.
Question,
you know what I mean? Like, what do y'all think that took? Shout out to the moms, man.
When I go back to California, where I'm from, I make it a point to drive by and then we'll see the house that we grew up in.
Yeah.
excuse me. So when I look at the house, I shake my head and say,
Yeah.
how in the world did we make
Yeah,
it?
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, yeah.
It was so small. 3 bedrooms, 1 bath.
Yeah.
And
For all of y'all,
yes,
so 7 kids plus
Yeah.
your moms.
yeah, just 1 bathroom.
Yeah.
So, we didn't have that kind of house where you have a master.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
There
yeah,
wasn't,
yeah.
wasn't none of that.
Mm-hmm.
So we all used, 1 bathroom. But I think there were many times when I look back at it now that when I would go and tell my mother good night, I would open up the door and she'd be on her knees.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Praying.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
many a times.
Yeah.
And now when I look back at it, I realized that she had to put her trust in God
Man.
in raising 5 boys and 2 girls.
Mm-hmm. Solo.
And she didn't have a job. She lived off of my father's pension. So she even tried to work at one time, but it didn't work out.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the only thing that I can attribute. There was a village as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
But if I was to take her alone, that she sought God.
Yeah.
Man.
She trusted God. That was her help, her strength. That's why she played piano for 22 years.
Yeah.
She's a faithful pianist.
Mm-hmm.
And she played for choirs around the city. But she loved church. But that was that had to be it.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
God being the X factor for her.
yeah. And
Oh,
I think she was.
100%.
When we had a Christmas, our Christmases were kind of slim because
There's a lot of y'all.
yeah.
Yeah.
It was crowded in there.
But a relative sent her some money for all of us,
Mm.
and she was so thankful. I
Mhm.
remember
Yeah.
seeing her gratitude or joy. that
Yeah.
She was thanking God for it. We all had a certain amount of money that we
Yeah.
split. And
Yeah.
that was the best Christmas we ever had.
Oh
Wow.
my
But
gosh.
she trusted God, and I'm saying this. I'm going to start. I never forget. We were in the store. She was checking out the groceries, and the cashier mentioned her husband, and she said, "My husband is deceased." But when I looked at her, it was almost though she almost was in tears.
Mhm.
My father had been dead several years,
Yeah.
but the love was so strong between them.
Yeah.
It was hard for her.
Yeah. I'm
'Cause
sure.
they loved each other.
Man. So much of that, like even the going back, whenever you go to California, the going back, it's interesting because I do that when my father's from Alexandria, Louisiana, and the few times over the years that I get to Alexandria, I always make my way to his graveside,
Mhm.
and it's not a particularly terribly wonderfully manicured
Yeah.
graveside, nor is there always someone in the office.
Mm.
So I always have to find him.
Mm.
Yeah.
I always make my way there, but there's something about, and I didn't even live in Alexandria, but there's something about going home that we're drawn to. And so I did the same thing. And for context, for my mom and dad, so they met in college at Southern University in Baton Rouge. They were both like in accounting and bookkeeping. They both pledged Alpha Phi Alpha and Alpha Kappa Alpha the same semester, crossed the same night.
Oh wow.
So they are we are like first fam royalty.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
and my mom went to college. She went straight through. I don't think she ever really went back home. And then after the summer she graduated, they married
Mm-hmm.
and then moved to Houston. And yeah, they were thick as thieves.
Yeah.
Very tight. And my mom, when I was in high school, she wrote this grief management kind of pamphlet. Really was just chronicling her story called "What in the World Do I Do Now?" I found out later the title came from when she was standing at my father's grave at the hole in the ground. They were getting ready to bury him. That's what she said. What in the world do I do now?
Wow.
But my mom is hyper efficient. So within like a week, she had his stuff boxed up.
Within a week.
Oh yeah,
Wow.
because in her mind, I have 3 boys,
Mhm.
little boys,
Mhm.
uh, to raise, and she'd always said to us that I'm raising men of honor, and so she was adamant about who we were. In fact, the names we have. I hated my middle name as a child, but the names we have because she like projected us being like lawyers or judges and doctors, and she wanted us to have names that were more distinguished.
Sure.
Yeah.
But from the
That
very
sounds.
jump,
That sounds
Something like
like.
that.
yeah,
I remember did that. Yeah.
that is how she was, and um, I have similar memories of being in my mom, like going into my mom's room and seeing her praying.
Yeah.
And as children, she had us always. I mean, at one point she worked for the church, my home church, but we always were there. We were there for the mentoring program on Saturdays. She had choir rehearsal on Mondays. Tuesday we got a break. It'd be midweek on Wednesdays. Thursdays, some maybe nothing. Fridays, probably some youth group. Saturday, again the mentoring. Sunday, church, and we were there all day. Her rule, even when we started driving, you got to go to Sunday school and one worship service. You can go to the early service in Sunday school or Sunday school and the late service, but you got to do both. And we all had to be involved in ministries. There was no question.
Yeah.
All of us were in tiny tots as small children. Then the children's choir. Then we got to middle school. We got to decide. Older brothers stayed with the choir. My younger brother and I went to the usher board. But we had to be in a ministry.
Yeah.
That was not an option.
You had to be plugged in, active.
She didn't believe in us being pew parishioners. You couldn't just sit in the seat. And her words to us were, when you're part of a family, I don't know if she remembers saying this, but it stuck with me. When you're part of a family, you don't just eat at the table, you also got to wash dishes.
Facts.
And so she instilled in us the importance of that. And I think probably even at times when it was hard for her to trust. And in some ways, in a lot of ways, we all grew in faith together. And so when I got involved in ministry, it was like, I don't know, it was a weird turn in our family life, but it really was like the impact of a mother that was adamant that we had to be in relationship with God from the time we were small kids. In fact, my very first sermon, I still have it, my very first sermon, I preached from my father's Bible. But all of that was because of the formation that we had in our house. And I think 100% my mom would say that we got through because we had the Lord on our side.
For sure. For sure.
It sounds so. Your household, your mom's household, kind of sound like ours.
Yeah.
Well, because we were raised in the church, so we were always involved.
Yeah.
But music was our main thing.
Yep.
So my oldest brother, he was the director. My second oldest brother, he played piano. The rest of us were in the choir.
Yeah.
And then we all had the 5 of us was called Johnson Boys.
Yeah.
You know, we would sing together.
Yeah.
You know, so we did that for years.
Yeah.
But yeah, ministry was something that we did.
See, that was an interesting, like my mom, I don't even know if she still even could remember how to play some stuff she did, but she played piano at her church growing up.
Wow.
Whether she wanted to or not, she did. But so my grandfather was a blues singer. Her father was a blues singer. In fact, he was a songwriter, Hit the Road Jack for Ray Charles.
Get out of here. What?
Percy Mayfield. In fact,
Wow.
in the movie Ray, with Jamie Foxx, there's a scene where they're getting ready to rehearse Hit the Road Jack. And he says, we gotta rehearse some music that Percy sent me.
Wow.
That was a nod to my grandfather, Percy
That's
Mayfield.
crazy.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
And so my grandmother was in the choir. My mom played for her home church, Mount Zion Christian Methodist Episcopal Church in Mendon, Louisiana. And so all of us got the music bug too. And so it's only now that I am serving in the capacity that I am that I'm the only one of my brothers that's not a musician in a church. But my older brother, he still plays at a church in Houston. My younger brother plays drums for the Saturday service that I preach. And T
But
and
you're
I,
also a musician as well.
for up until now,
Yeah.
I've been the music director at local churches most of the time that I've lived in the Metroplex, which is almost 20 years. And then was playing well before that, but similar.
And play well.
Yeah. Facts. Facts. Very well.
It might be some atrophy now. I've been off the piano bench for a while now, but it was the same thing, right? That music, I think, was our gateway of communication and connection. To this day, if I'm struggling, what comes back are songs of faith. More songs of faith that then remind me of Scripture, not the other way around. And when I preach, I mean, almost every sermon I'm quoting a song because that was so formative. I mean, every Monday night, my mom had choir rehearsal, so we would be there Monday nights, standing in the balcony with my uncle, who was the sound engineer, watching my mom in rehearsal. And so most of my childhood was spent at Brentwood Baptist Church in Hiram Clark's part of Houston, Texas.
So let me ask you this. And Dad, I know that you kind of experienced this a little bit too. So like growing up and, you know, with your mother's making sure that y'all were in church, not just in church, but being active and involved, right? To me, it seems that lasts kind of for so long until you kind of get of age to where you're making some different types of decisions. You know what I'm saying? To put it mildly. So like, you kind of told me some of the things that you would dabble into. Swiftly pass, bro. Especially like, you know, with some of the drugs that you kind of get into in your teenage years and things before you gave your life to Christ. But it's like, can you remember some of the things that you kind of dabbled into as you were, and then like what, like, because at some point, I remember you telling me, and I'm gonna let you guys just want to finish it with this. I remember you telling me a story of you being a teenager and you had something to drink, right? And it got to a point where you had too much to drink, and you're vomiting it all up. And what did your mom say to you? Remember what she said to you?
Yeah. She would go to church Wednesday nights. And so that's when she left, he was on the pop.
Y'all was getting into it.
So my second oldest brother, he drank wine a lot. So he went and got some, I'll never forget it, pink Chablis.
Ooh, Chablis.
By Gallo. Pink Chablis. And, so, you know, I was drinking it fast, but I drank too much. So I went and laid down. Of course, the room was spinning.
Oh, yeah.
You know that feeling. And so we had this may sound gross, but we had champagne, a big champagne glasses you won at the fair. Yeah, so I felt good. I was getting ready to.
Oh, I remember this part.
I told you.
You let it, but I don't remember that. You let it go in that thing?
Yeah.
Hey man, whatever's close.
Oh my God.
Whatever is close.
And and I filled it up.
Did any like run over?
No, I filled it up.
Thank God.
It didn't run over.
Oh my God.
But as I filled it up, I looked to my left, and there's my mother standing in the doorway.
Ooh.
With her hand on the hip.
Oh.
She looked at me and said, "Vomit your brains out." so we got into a lot of stuff.
Oh my God.
You remember about how old you were around this point?
I had to have been maybe about 15.
15.
Yeah, I had to have been about 15.
Golly.
Because Ricky was the culprit.
Yeah.
You're one of your older brothers.
Yeah. He passed now, because he's the one that played.
Yeah.
So he was the culprit. I can tell you that story about him, but
is he the second born?
He's the second born.
Tell you, man, them second kids, man.
Yeah, he's the second born. And he was something. But yeah, I started getting into a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Until age 17. That's when I came out after Christ and things changed.
Yeah. Yeah, mine was similar. It
Mm.
was hijinks ensued. Um, I'm trying to think, when did I guess it doesn't really matter. I was always the more mischievous one out of my brothers. I was always the one that was, you know, the Missouri kid, the show me state,
Yeah.
and uh, so I did get into my fair share of hijinks. Uh, I'll leave some names out because I'm sure they don't want.
Please do. Leave them out.
But probably the most substantial moment was my oldest daughter was born when I was a junior in high school.
Mm.
So, needless to say, hijinks.
Yeah.
And I thought for sure that I was going to be living in Louisiana, that my mom was going to send me to live with my grandmother. And she didn't. She was like, this is our family, and this is a life that we will learn and figure out together. And on the way over here, I was talking to that oldest child, and it is one of the most meaningful relationships that I have is with my oldest daughter, and it is amazing to imagine where that began to where it is.
Yeah.
But it was a whole bunch of that for a while, just very interested to experience as much life as I could. And I lived a lot of it, enough so to where, similar to you, except I was 20. I think when I had recommitted in a whole new way. But by that point, I had done so much that I was like, yeah, it's time to go ahead and go sit down somewhere.
And you don't have to disclose everything if you don't want to, but I don't mean to cut you off.
No.
But I feel like anytime you kind of get that realization of I need to go change some things.
Time to go to the house.
You know what I'm saying? That's a very interesing place to be in, because it usually takes a little bit of prodigal son in there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? To where you realize that, I'm out here eating this slop.
It.
Let me get, you know what I mean?
I can tell you the
this.
exact moment that I had. I was in my dorm room at the University of Houston, 4th floor, South Tower, Moody Towers. And I had come home from a party. My roommate was gone. I'd cut on the light. I have this distinct memory of having on a puka shell necklace, and what the from Mo City, who even does this?
Yeah.
But I cut on the light. I turned and looked in the mirror, and I jumped back because I thought someone was in the room. And there was this moment. It was this kind of as close as I can imagine to an out of body experience where I didn't recognize myself.
Wow.
And mind you, at that point, I think that was spring. So I would have been 19. So my oldest daughter was 2, or almost 2 by then. And what then hit me was, I'm not the kind of man that I would want her to marry. I'm not even the kind of man that I would want her to be around. It was those two things. And I remember dropping to my knees. And the realization that how I was living, what I was doing, was trying to be something that I'm not. I was trying to, I'm a choir boy, I'm a church rat, and I was trying to be like everyone else. And it was David putting on Saul's armor. This don't fit. These are not my clothes. And I know it because, and what it was those songs, it was that memory of being at choir rehearsal with my mother. It was all of it that this is not how I was raised to be. And the realization of being a father at that point, just all of it. What it was really, it was between God and my family that saved my life, that took me back, that brought me to myself.
Yeah.
And then at that point, that began a turnaround. And I think that following year, 2 days before my 21st birthday, I was preaching my first sermon.
Wow.
Man, talk about a 180.
Boy.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
Highest of keys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I do think about for you all. I guess I'm curious with your father's passing at such a young age for y'all, and then you have a daughter pretty early,
Yeah.
right? And then you start having kids. Like
Yeah, 17 is definitely pretty early.
17 is early.
Yes.
Yeah.
For sure, for a fact.
Yeah.
Like y'all growing up together.
Yeah.
To an extent. You know what I'm saying?
Real talk.
But for you, Dad, I remember you telling me that there were influential men in your life that kind of helped you and showed you what a real man is and what that man looks like and poured into you and helped you and taught you certain things. Did you have men in your life that kind of
Yeah.
helped you in those areas?
This again where I give my mom. I've written papers talking about my mom was like my first superhero,
Mm-hmm.
and I give so much thanks
Yeah.
that my mom had the wherewithal to keep us involved in the local church.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it was there that we had so many different folks. I was in Houston a couple weeks ago for the homegoing service for a man named Walter Inman. Walter Inman, one of probably my oldest friend, is a guy named Jamon. Jamon and I were in the nursery together at Brentwood at 2 and 3 years old.
Okay.
And his old man, Mr. Inman, was a deacon at the church, and at my home church on first Sundays, the deacons would have like their own breakfast in the deacon room, and the family of deacons could come in, but Mr. Inman would always let me come in and get breakfast with Jamon. Um, he was, he taught a Sunday school. I have this distinct memory of him praying because whenever he prayed, he was a what I always called the Father God prayer. Like he would always, Father God, in the name of Jesus, Father God, I want to thank you, Father God, for all you've done, Father God. He said Father God like
All the time.
100 times
Yeah.
in the prayer. But what I remember is seeing him pray all the time. And there were men like him. On Father's Day, I always think about, and I probably should do it this coming year, but I always think about writing letters to so many of these men who were so influential.
Yeah.
2 doors down from my house, it was a Daniels family. Another one of my oldest friends, Eugene, his dad, Mr. Daniels, Eugene Daniels the first. My older brother got in a car accident when I was in 5th grade. Mr. Daniels swooped me and my younger brother up. We stayed with them for like 2 days. And he was involved in our church. So Mr. Daniels, Mr. Inman, my best friend growing up, Gerard, his father, Mr. Murray. There was a guy who recently passed who was in the program that we had a rites of passage program where we had to call all of the older guys elder, whatever their last name was. So it was Elder Balthazar, Elder Watson, Elder Giles. Elder Giles just passed away. But there are so many men that I can remember growing up that were Sunday school teachers, that were coaches, that were deacons at the church, that were on the sound team, that were part of the music ministry, all these different men. There was one guy in particular who was the music minister at the church that I grew up in. His name was Ed Artist. He passed away when I was in 6th grade. And he was kind of like the closest thing to a stepfather that we knew. He was at our house for every birthday, for Christmas. I have so many memories of him being there with us, him getting frustrated with me because I was not cleaning up for my mom's birthday and for Mother's Day like I was supposed to be.
Yeah.
Just all the things, just a number of men that were just there. And who I knew if I disappointed my mom enough, I was gonna have to see. My youth pastor, John Hallman, who was at my ordination service.
Okay.
There were so many guys, but it was really my mom who just kept us locked in, and her security to allow us to be with them, and to recognize that it takes men to help a boy learn how to be a man.
Yeah. Say that one more time.
Man, someone said it to her once. She got offended But then she came to understand that it's true.
Mhm.
You know, that my mom taught us how to be good people,
Yeah.
but it took men. My Uncle Cecil, who was in the sound team at the church, it took all of these influences of these men. You
Mhm.
know, when I got speeding tickets, I was going to have to hear from Mr. Murray, who
Mhm.
it's just now at 42 that he stopped teasing me about my first speeding ticket at 16. And about the girlfriends that I used to have in
Yeah.
high school. It's now that he doesn't mess with me. But
Mhm.
I had all of those guys that were just enough around that it mattered.
Mhm.
And to this day, man, some of the lessons I learned from them, I still carry with me to this day about respect and about how to stand as a man and
Yeah.
about how to carry yourself and about how to work hard and the
Mhm.
importance of all of that, man. I was echoed by my mom, uh, but also driven home by a host of guys in our local church that,
Mhm.
that really looked out for us.
Yeah. That's good. Um,
I got to say one more.
Go for it.
Sorry.
Go for it.
Only because it's so impressionable. There was another guy, his name was Michael Gaskin. Mr. Gaskin is, um, he's got some health things going on.
Mhm.
But there were another local church, Windsor Village, used to host a banquet called the Misters and Masters Banquet, which is basically like a father-son banquet.
Mhm.
It was a big deal because it was the only time my mom would let us wear cologne.
Okay.
And I remember my older brother going, her having a little tester colognes
Yeah.
or whatever,
Yeah.
and Mike getting to put on cologne. And I remember watching Mike leave, and I'm like, oh man, I'm gonna get there.
Yeah.
Oh. And I remember the first time I got to go to the Misters and Masters banquet, I was in there, cologne, just
Mhm. Douse.
gotta
Bathing
make
in
this last.
it.
And Mr. Gaskin, man, he picked us up faithfully every year to take us to Misters and Masters banquet, took us to Astros games. I mean, just those men, man, they made the difference between us being successful or being a statistic.
Yeah.
And I thank God for all of them, man.
Mhm.
They to this day, man, they have no idea the impact that they made,
Mhm.
but it was huge.
Yeah.
I mean, it sticks with me to this day.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so, like, when you look at you all being fathers and trying to figure it out, trying to navigate it.
That's the name of the game, man.
You know what I'm saying, right? And I feel like I'm still new to being a dad, right? My oldest is only 8 years old, but obviously y'all have kids that are much older, and so what was it like for y'all both to try to figure it out? You know what I'm saying? Try to figure out how to be not only just be a dad,
Yeah.
but be a good dad. And are you still trying to figure it out and navigate it? Hey, I'm coming with the questions, okay? I'm doing something.
That is a
Yeah.
great question.
Yeah, I was always doubtful about my father because I did not have a father.
Yeah.
So I was always wondering, would I make
Yeah.
a good father?
Sure.
And I, Father's Day come along. Mother's Day, then you got Father's Day, and I remember my children gave me a card.
No, that was me.
Was that you?
Yeah, that was me. She's not getting that credit. That was on me.
Yeah.
I love you, Didi. I love you, sis. But no, this card was mine.
I don't remember what the card said, but when I read the card, I just broke down because I felt like, wow, I'm doing
I
something
did something
right.
right. Yeah. Yeah.
I made this mention on yet another episode where RJ came home from college and he was coming down the stairs and he said, "Dad," I said, "Yeah." And he stopped and looked at me and said, "How is it that you are such an awesome father?"
Yeah.
I was
Floored. Yeah.
because I didn't I
Yeah,
didn't know
yeah,
how I
yeah.
was doing.
Yeah.
Mhm.
My daughter, I took her to. I didn't know how important it was to take her on a father and daughter dance.
Yeah.
She still remembers it to this day,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and she says she'll never forget it because I made her feel
Yeah.
you know, beautiful and
Yeah.
treat her. That's how a man should treat you. You know,
Yeah.
taught it. Yeah, it was trying to figure it out was rough.
Yeah.
But you said something just now. I don't want to gloss over. You said that you didn't know how you were doing,
Yeah.
Yeah.
right? Like as you're going through, and I thought that was just
I
me.
think every father probably thinks that.
Yeah, yeah, and that gives
Yeah.
me a little bit of solace because like there's certain checkpoints in your life and and memories that you have with your kids where you're like where it means something to you and it's special, but you're still hoping that you're figuring it out right. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? At least for me. And so it's helpful for me to know at least that and at that point I was coming home from college.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like I was at least 18, 19, 20
Yeah.
years old. And for that entire time, you just didn't know if you were doing it
I
right.
really
That's
didn't. I really didn't
terrifying.
know. I mean,
Yeah, man.
I was I always had questions. I was looking at myself, looking at
Oh,
my
Yeah.
yeah.
shortcomings, and
Yeah.
my life and all this stuff. And but I wanted to be present in your life. I didn't want to just say that's my father, that's son. I want to have a relationship
For sure.
with you.
For sure.
And,
Yeah.
so I had to work on that. My wife called me a pack rat,
Yeah.
because
Because you
those don't start.
Because it's true. And Gayla don't be lying.
I've kept cards
Yeah.
that they gave me throughout
Yeah.
the years.
You know what?
I need to see proof.
I have done the same.
Mm.
And what you described is exactly how I felt. I mean, I had no blueprint. I had all these
Yeah.
men in my life, but I didn't grow up in their homes.
Yeah.
Right? I didn't see how they interacted with their wives.
Right.
I didn't outside of how you act around company. I was company. I wasn't the family, even though they treated me like family.
Yeah.
But I didn't have really a blueprint for how to do any of this.
Yeah.
Right. And with my oldest, when she was born, I mean, I wasn't old enough to vote yet. And so I really had no idea. And I became it was another reminder of the reality of having grown up as a boy without a father, that I don't know what I'm doing. And I remember specifically with my oldest, with Maya, thinking, I remember the first time it was one particular visit when I went to go, because she stayed with her mother. I went to go visit her. And I was so scared to go. I took my best friend with me. I mean, we were, I remember it was Christmas time. We were still wearing the high school leather jackets.
Yeah.
Rolled up in there with our blue Elkins jackets on. And I was so terrified. I worked with kids at our church, but I remember having the thought, what if my kid doesn't like me? And I remember
That's tough.
walking in, and as soon as I walked in the door, she's full on sprinted, jumped in my arms, was playing with my beard.
Yeah.
She looked at my best friend, but she was stuck on me.
Yeah.
And I remember wilting.
Yeah.
I don't know if I was holding her up or if she was holding me up. It was just, and I remember being so taken aback by how overwhelmed I was. And then being terrified, how do I keep this going?
Yeah.
How do I do this? First time I went shopping for clothes with her, for her with my mom, and I was like, okay, here's his shirt, here's these pants. My mom was like, well, what about the socks?
Yeah.
What about the shoes?
Yeah.
What about the bows? And I was like, I don't want daughters.
Right.
I don't want this.
Yeah.
Right. And with each one of them, I was like,
You got 3 daughters.
all girls, man.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't know how to do this. And similar to you, just desperately wanting to be involved in their lives.
Yeah.
What I didn't want was because all I had was images from TV and movies and stuff. I didn't want to be like the stereotypical TV dad that was aloof and unaware of what was going on in the family's life.
Yeah.
I wanted to be involved in their lives. It was important to me that we would be able to talk always about anything. And so I just tried to do my best to be as present as possible, as interested as possible, even when I was not interested, to just practice being interested, and to let them, because what was always most important to me is that they got what I didn't have, that they lived in the world where they not only knew they had a father who loved them, but they knew the father that did love them. And I've just tried to do that, and there have been similar touch points. I remember my oldest, I guess she was home from college, and she wanted to cook for me instead of me cooking for her. And I was like, all right.
Yeah.
So, and while she was in college, she would always call me for ideas about recipes and how to cook different things. And she wanted to make wings. She knows I love wings. And she made some lemon pepper wings. And to this day, it is the best lemon pepper wings I've ever had.
Is it because like she made them, or
No, they
like
were
the
good.
recipe was like that?
They were legit good.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
I'm not coming for your daughter.
No,
I'm just
That's
asking.
a good question.
I'm just asking.
They were legit good, but what it did, I was eating. She walked away. I almost cried because I was like, man, she's gonna be all right. If she can cook like this for herself, she's gonna be all right. And then it made me feel like we did something right. And on the way over here, I was talking to her. She's doing a baby shower for one of her friends in Alabama, and she always wants to FaceTime. We never just talk on the phone. It always has to be FaceTime. She always wants to see my face. And all of her friends, she was like, I'm doing a birthday, the daughter or the kid celebration for my friend, and she turned the camera around. All of them, they said hi like they knew who I was. And it is because I've met several of her friends in college, some in high school, and since college. And every one of them were like, she is always quoting you.
Wow.
Always it's like giving us advice that she tells us that she got from you.
Me and her have that in common. Hey, let's call it what it is.
And there are other moments, with my two youngers, my middle daughter that has cerebral palsy. There are so many moments to where just out of nowhere, she's sitting there on an iPad. I'll be working on the computer. She will look up and, Daddy? I'm like, yeah, what's up? You're the best.
Wow.
You're the best daddy in the world. The youngest one, she'll do the same thing. Like I'm sitting there on the couch, and she will run full speed, jump on the couch and on me, and she's like, I just want to be close to you. And I'm like,
you can do nothing about it.
Nah, man, just fold.
Yeah.
And like, come on, man, let's just go get some ice cream. Come on. But it's those points, because to exactly what you said, like you hope you're doing good. You know the areas where you didn't do as well as you had hoped. You forget how resilient your children are, but you just know, like, man, I wish I'd done more of. I wish I was able to give more of. I wish I had provided more of. I wish I had said this better. I wish I had. I wish. And you think you should know, but you forget that they just want you around. And you doing that is enough. And so I'm grateful to have lived long enough to be able to have heard from them that my presence in their life still matters. And that's everything.
That's precious, man. I know even right now, my daughter, she's married, have her own family. But when she comes to the house, She
Daddy.
sit right by.
Daddy,
Mm-hmm.
daddy. Yeah,
It's just
She
something
does.
about it,
yeah, man. My
it's,
oldest, when she comes
yeah.
home, she would rather than running the streets or doing something else, she would rather be sitting up watching reruns of A
Yeah.
Different World next
Yeah.
to Old Man.
Yeah.
And she does not want me to go to bed.
Yeah.
And she's 25. I'm like, girl, we ain't.
Yeah.
You not no spring chicken no more. We
Yeah.
both need to go to sleep.
Yeah.
Nope. When are you going? When are you flying me back out?
Mm.
So I gotta make enough money to be able to just continue to fly
Right.
a grown person home. And I absolutely will.
Yeah, for
I
sure.
absolutely
For
will,
sure.
man, because that's exactly I wanted 30.
Yeah.
At 40, her still, daddy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna make you a steak, baby.
Yeah.
For
Come
sure.
on, come
For
on.
sure.
Let daddy take care.
Yeah.
That's right.
There's something that you mentioned, bro, and I wanna lean in on before we move to the next thing, because I had a moment today. You said just like you want to be present, you want to be
Yeah.
around, like you're really intentional about that.
Yeah.
And bro, I kid you not, just this morning as we're getting ready for church, my 3-year-old daughter Neri, she's in this phase to where like she has all these like princess dresses and she's got crowns and she's got purses and she's got little sunglasses with her, like they're like flowers with her names on them. And she's all about like being pretty and being prissy and everything like that. And so I laid out an outfit for her, just something simple, t-shirt, some jeans, still cute or whatever. And she comes in the room as me and my wife are getting ready, and she has on the clothes that I laid out for her, but she has on a princess dress on top of it.
Yeah.
And she's like, I want to wear this to church today. And I was like, nah, because it just looks kind of funny. Like, but when we get home, I promise you can wear it. As soon as we get home, you can put it right back on. And she keeps on asking. I'm like, baby, you can't wear it to church today.
Yeah.
But when you get home, we can put it right back on you. And she walks away and she's sad. And in our bedroom, we have a really big mirror. It's like a 5-foot tall mirror. Why it's there, that's a conversation for another day. That's between me and my wife. Anyways, we have this mirror.
Podcast took a turn.
I'm sorry. My mind went there, and it is what it is. Anyway, I'm getting dressed in the closet, and I don't know how I heard it. I really don't, but I heard her. I heard her in the mirror, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And I walk out, and this happened today. I walk out, and she's looking at herself in the mirror, holding her dress, and she looks sad. And and honest to God, she says, "I'm not pretty anymore."
Oh.
Right? And like
Yeah. Yeah, I'm pulling it back too.
Let me get myself together. When she said, my 3-year-old daughter, she's looking at herself in the mirror, holding her dress, and she says, "I'm not pretty anymore." And she said it more than once, and it shook me.
Oh yeah.
And so I immediately dropped to my knees, and I put her on my knee, and I told her, "Why are you saying that?" She said, "Because I can't wear my dress." And her confidence in herself was put in this material thing. You know what I'm saying? Because anytime that she wears it, we're always saying, "Oh, you're so pretty. You're like a princess," this, that, and the other. But because she didn't have it on, she felt like she wasn't pretty enough. And so I had to take that moment to tell her to look herself in the mirror and to build herself back up. And like, that to me was a moment. I'm grateful to God for giving me that moment and allowing me to hear that. Like, because I don't know if she was saying it before I got to it or not, but like, it sounds weird that I heard her in the mirror before she was saying anything, but like something told me to go out and look at her in the mirror. You know what I'm saying? And being present.
Yeah.
Right? Like being there. Again, it's one thing to be in the house, but it's another thing to be active.
Yeah.
It's another thing to be aware, to care.
To care.
And to build up your daughter. And me and Alicia, we had a whole conversation. We were like, is she, like, we're realizing that she's in a place to where she's, her self-esteem is being nurtured and cultivated right now. And it's so crucial for me as a father, especially to help build that up for her. But it's like, God forbid, if I wasn't there, is she going to tear her self-esteem down just because of a lack of a male figure being there. I'll be damned if I'm gonna let some other fool like control her confidence that way. You know what I'm saying? So like again, going back to what you said, being present, being active, it matters. So talking about like being present matters, right?
Yeah.
One thing I did want to ask you, bro, is your daughter Joy,
Yeah.
right, with cerebral palsy. That's I can't I can only imagine the challenge that presents, right?
Yeah.
But can you talk a little bit about your experience having to raise a daughter that has cerebral palsy, but also be a father in her life, obviously love her unconditionally, and bro, I want to say that you and Jocelyn are amazing parents. Like I just really want to give you your flowers, bro, because I know that that's probably not easy.
Yeah.
I know it's probably had its ups and downs.
Yeah.
There's a lady at our church who had a daughter with cerebral palsy, and seeing not just the effort, but the toll that it takes on the family and on the parents. Like it's not easy. It's not easy being a parent, period. Right? But being a parent in that aspect, like it takes a little bit more, right?
And if I might add
Yeah.
to that too, how did you feel when you found that what she's going to?
Yeah. I have so many thoughts swirling.
Yeah. But I'm sorry, let me say this last thing. One thing I always picked up on was when you refer to Joy, you refer to her as your child that has unique needs.
Yeah.
Right? And that's always been intentional for you, right? So if you don't mind, I'd like for you to talk about because you're intentional with your wording. That's one thing that I know about you, right? Like if you don't mind, like talk a little bit about that as well, just kind of your experience.
So it's so interesting. I preached about this the other week. When we found out, Joy was about, I want to say 4 months when we got the diagnosis. I have a picture still in my phone, and I think it was like I changed the title of the picture. It was like "Smile Through the Pain" or something like that. Jocelyn and I were at the Fort Worth Zoo, and it was the day we got the diagnosis. After we got the diagnosis, we'd gone to eat at Papados, and we talked and cried and everything, and then we took Joy to the zoo and had a good day. We knew something was going on because she just wasn't reaching milestones. There were just certain things in terms of motion that she wasn't doing, and we were concerned, and so we had.
And so this wasn't detected while she was still in the stomach.
She was good in here before we gotten the official diagnosis. So we were concerned. We talked to primary care physician. Eventually, referred us to a neurologist at Cook's. We went there, and we got. I think it was in June. We got the diagnosis that she was diagnosed with a form of cerebral palsy called spastic quadriplegia and dystonia, which just meant all 4 limbs are kind of constantly like spastic. So there's this kind of constant tightness and tenseness. Almost seems like she's really strong, but she's never able to really develop like muscle tone. And so it was devastating. I mean, how do you wrap your mind around it? Because we're in this hospital, and they're telling us things that we're gonna have to think about like she may have cognitive delays. They're gonna be, she probably won't walk. She probably won't do this, and all of the things that probably won't happen. And in that moment, it feels like, I think whenever parent has children, you have a dream of some kind for your children. And it was like watching that dream die. And that was hard. And we were trying to make sense of it. Jocelyn at that time was, I think she was an assistant principal by then. I had worked with all these kids. When we moved here, I was working doing after-school programs for the Y, and I was working there then, doing after-school programs for the Y. And so there were all these kids in between Arlington, Grand Prairie, and Mansfield that we had been working with. And I remember having that feeling of like, really? Like our first child together, this happens? And just being frustrated with God, being angry. I used to do these what I called logic walks, and I would literally leave our apartment, but it was this kind of progression of thoughts that I would have. And I would walk and I would say to myself, okay, we've got to resolve this here and now. Either God exists or God does not.
Okay.
Do I believe that God exists?
Yeah.
Well, I do. If God exists, then he is either worthy of being trusted completely or not trusted at all. The stakes are too high.
Yeah. There's no room for
no,
gray
no,
or
there's
nothing
not.
like
This
that.
isn't like, like the homie down the street who like, I can trust with my car, but I would never trust him in my house, or something. Like, it's not that. The stakes are too high. Like, this is life or death.
Yeah.
And so I can either trust everything or I won't trust anything. And for me at that time, whether this is true or not, it was the way that I thought. It was for me to trust everything. That means I've got to be able to trust the first word and the last word and everything in between. If that's true, and I really do believe that, then all things work together for the greater good of those that love God and called according to his purpose.
Yeah.
And I would do that multiple times a day for, I don't know, a year.
Yeah.
And I was having to, like, it was almost like this might be too far, but it almost like my faith in God had a stroke and I was learning how to rewalk again.
That doesn't sound too far.
Yeah,
That makes sense.
And so I was going through that process. And I've told my kids that all of them have taught me way more than I'm ever going to be able to teach them.
Ooh.
And Maya taught me, having a child of 17, that God can be kind and good in unfavorable circumstances. My youngest Jordan has taught me not to take myself too seriously. She just won't let me. She's a goofball, and I love it.
You said this is Joy?
Jordan,
okay.
But Joy in the middle has taught me the most about compassion and grace, to see the world that's easy to overlook. Partly because Joy can't walk, when we play on the ground.
Yes.
And it's hard to think of it or hard to imagine, but if you do right now, like if you were playing on the ground with a kid, the world looks a lot different from the ground than it does standing up.
Sure.
And so literally having to live life on her level has taught me to see the world that it's easy for me to overlook.
Yeah.
You start to be conscious of a number of different things. And so in a lot of ways, the truth of the matter is, while I do not wish our life on anyone else, the truth of the matter is I think I'm a better human because I have her. I think I'm a better person having lived life with her. And it is hard. I mean, Joy is 16 and I'll leave here and at some point, Jocelyn and I will rock, paper, scissors over who's going to change a 16-year-old's diaper.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and when you have a 14-year-old who's in high school with her, who wants to go to dances and her big sister can't really.
Jeez.
And if she does, like, we've got to be conscious of, like, Like Joy went to homecoming this year, but like Jocelyn had to go to homecoming because we had to think about things like seizures
Yeah.
or if she gets wet, you know, and all that's gonna be. And I'm 42 and she's not getting lighter and I'm not getting younger. And so you do have to think about, but like what the rest of our life will look like. But Joy taught me to love the life I have and not lament the life I lost.
Oof.
She taught me that. And there was a moment.
Wait, bro, I'm sorry. Love the life you have and not lament the life that you
Not
lost.
get lost lamenting the life that you lost. I think you should grieve what's gone. Like our dream for Joy, it died. And we needed to grieve that. But I can't get lost lamenting the life that we lost.
Yeah.
Not when there's so much life to love.
Yeah.
And Joyce, she's true to her name, you know, and so it is.
That's what I don't mean to cut you
No, go
off,
ahead.
but that's one thing I was going to ask you is that with her name being Joy, right? Like some people may see that as like ironic or whatever, however you want to label it, but like finding, and again, I was surprised to hear that you all found out her diagnosis after she was born.
Yeah.
Right? I would have thought that you naming her Joy would have been like in spite of.
Jocelyn and I picked that name when we were dating.
Yeah.
We knew that if we got married and we had kids, there was two versions. Jocelyn's middle name is Lene.
Okay.
We were either going to name our first child, if it was a girl, if it was a boy, it was going to be Julian Hobby II.
Okay. Is this? Could that still happen?
No.
No.
If that happens, we'll be on this podcast with me lamenting the life that I lost.
I'm just asking. Okay.
I don't want that.
Okay, understood.
No, unless we are adopting a 28-year-old
That's real.
who we rename. No.
Right. Okay. Got it.
But we knew it was either going to be Joylyn Lene or Joy Lene. We picked that, man, a year before we got married.
I love that.
And so we always knew if we had our first child, if it was a daughter, that it was going to be Joy.
With her name being Joy, and with her current diagnosis, how do you all, like, is there any sort of significance to her, that being her name and everything that comes along with that?
The only person that would think her name would be ironic is a person that hasn't met her.
For sure. I totally agree with that.
And she's
the happiest person in the room everywhere she goes.
Oh man, like.
And can sing, first of all.
Yeah, we was at the church.
Oh, yeah.
I heard this
Like,
voice.
Oh my
And I turned, I
God.
said,
Hey, you know,
wow.
It used to be a problem during choir rehearsals. I'm like, I'm working. I need you to stop singing so loud. She would sing louder than the whole choir.
Sheesh.
And she's 100% that. But no, I mean, there was a moment, and again, this is just like lessons with Joy, that and I actually think this came from a sermon that I had heard from Ralph West in Houston. I realized that I was praying constantly about like God healing Joy. Like it was the same prayer to completely take away all the effects of cerebral palsy. All of it, right? And I was praying it over and over. And then I realized, and again, this is just growth from learning and living life with her, that what I was praying was not a prayer of faith. It was a prayer that was rooted in fear. I was afraid of what her quality of life would be.
Yeah.
I was afraid of what our quality of life would be.
Yeah.
Like I imagined, you know, being in our 60s and Jocelyn and I being able to like travel and do stuff or leave the kids alone and everything and do everything. Right now, we like, if leaving long periods of time without the kids is a struggle because we don't have somebody to watch Joy, to be able to change her and to take care of in the event that someone has a seizure. And so, or she has a seizure. And so I was constantly praying a prayer that was rooted in fear. And eventually, coming to the realization of that, the prayer changed from solely heal her was heal me from the grief that I have for the life that we lost,
Yeah.
and help me to love the child that I have.
Yeah, man.
And not just protect her. Like, I'm not protecting her from God, advocating for God to do something on her behalf. What I needed to learn was how to love our circumstances.
Yeah.
And there are many days when I don't like that we have what we have, because I don't want this for her. But I love my life. I love my kids.
Yeah.
Right? And I love what I have learned living life with them.
Yeah.
And so, again, while I don't wish it for anyone, there is a certain kind of grace that comes from parenting a child with unique needs. And I know I am a better human.
Yeah.
Pastor, everything else. All that does, I mean, it matters, but it doesn't matter. I'm a better human.
In some circles, going back to, how I came up in certain religious circles.
Oh, yeah.
Those type of things weren't supposed to happen.
Yeah.
Because,
talk about it, Dad.
Because, if you quote faith scriptures and you quote positive things, and we say put in an atmosphere or whatever, all that goes. But then when something like this happens,
yeah,
and a lot of people don't know how to deal with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you said it takes grace. There's a grace.
Oh man, there is. And we've talked about this before, that like even prior to Joy, but I think as a result of that as well, like I'm being a preacher who has like studied the craft of preaching, probably in some ways has ruined preaching for me. Like, I can't sit and listen to a lot, and not that I'm even like judgmental or critical.
I understand.
But I recognize that there are certain things that get promoted in some of our traditions that I think what they do is they leave people with bad options. To the point that you're making, like, it leaves people with a few options that when this thing happens, either God doesn't exist, God doesn't hear me, or God is mad at me. And I don't think any of those are the case.
Correct.
I've said this, I think I've said this when I've been on the other podcast for the church with you all, that we live in a world with cupcakes and cancer.
Yeah. The
truth of the matter is that in a fallen world, in a broken world, the possibility of sickness and harm are always present, right?
And we're not exempt.
We're not exempt. And all of us are impacted. Joy's disability is visible. Mine, no one could see. And fortunately, I lived a life where God did not expose all of my limps, all of my failings, all of my lack of ability to do and to accomplish, to perform. That I'm fortunate that God did not let the world see all my disabilities. But the truth of the matter is we all got something.
Absolutely.
Correct.
Right. And again, what Joy has helped me to learn is that the truth of the matter is it's not that this thing has happened and that this reality is present to us, but the hope that we have is that one day all of this will be repaired.
Correct.
I was today preaching. We were doing an Advent series on the characters of Christmas. We were preaching on the Magi and on the wise men. And there's a refrain, particularly with the shepherds, that has stuck with me this entire Advent season. One day in the, one day in the city of David, in the town of David, a Savior was born. And if that's true, that everything changed. And it marked the beginning of families being restored, sicknesses being healed, my baby's legs moving. And so, because one day in the city of David, a Savior was born, peace on earth and goodwill on all those on whom his favor rests. And if that's true, this is just the meantime, in between time until we get to king time.
Yeah, man.
And I'm
Yeah,
looking
man.
forward
Yeah.
to one day running the streets of gold with my daughter.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
You both mentioned,
Jesus.
man. Yeah, no, I gotta sit for a second. I'm sorry. You both mentioned the word grace.
Mm.
Wes Huff is a historian and theologian that I follow. You familiar?
Oh, yeah.
And he broke down the significance of grace. And I say this in church a lot. The significance of grace as it pertains to mankind, humankind, right? When we're talking about God, this being that caused everything to come into motion, that created space, time, and matter and called it reality, this being is a being of justice. And the definition of justice is getting what you deserve, right? But this being also is a God of mercy as well.
Not getting
what you
do
deserve.
deserve.
Exactly. But then you take it a step further, and this God is also a God of grace.
Getting
what you
do
don't
not
deserve. You know what I'm saying? And so it's like understanding what grace means, getting what you don't deserve. It's a gift, right? But then I'd be interested to see how you all interpret this. How do you take the definition of grace, getting what you don't deserve, and look at a beautiful soul like your daughter? Man, I'm really fighting back my tears right now. Looking at a beautiful soul like your daughter, who fills the room with light everywhere that she goes, right? Beautiful voice, and a beautiful person. How do you grapple with, maybe you're not grappling, but how do you interpret that? This grace, getting something that you don't deserve, but also serving your daughter and loving your daughter and protecting her and like being there for her. How do you navigate through that?
Yeah, grace. So the getting what you do not deserve. The question is, what did you get?
Okay.
And one of the things that you give, this grace, is power for living, right? Dunamis power, dynamite power, right? Right, explosive power, and the truth is that God has given us the power to love the life that we have. He's given us the ability to see beyond legs that can't walk. Right? And to see the beauty of this child and to foster it, right? Not just, we aren't altruists. We aren't like these incredibly benevolent people. We're just parents. And fortunately, God has given us the ability to see the girl that's there. Not see what she's not. Not see what's not there. See who she is and to foster that. So I will pull, well, now she can drive her own wheelchair up to the piano and I'll play as loud as she's willing to sing and foster that. I will make a home where she always feels at home. I will give her confidence to be, she's part of the Partners in Cheer program at Lake Ridge High School. And to her, it would not make any sense that she would not be able to be out there cheering in her wheelchair next to the cheerleaders. But that confidence she has is because we expect you. There are things that you can't do, but there's plenty of things you can do. And the things that we can do, we gonna do. And we gonna be right there. And I'm right there with my Lake Ridge shirt that's got joy on the back, sitting in my stadium chair and my lounge chair, rooting right there.
Absolutely.
Yeah, UGLY, baby. They ain't got no alibi. That's right. I don't even care what the football team doing. I'm cheering with you.
Absolutely.
Right? And we're going to give her every opportunity and every space to do what may seem impossible. Because we've got the grace. We've got the power to see. And I'm not living in what we lost, loving what we have. And as a result of this relationship and this experience with Joy, our family motto is "Hobbies don't quit," right? That came from her.
Wow.
So here's the experience. Here's what happened. Joy was at where Jocelyn is principal. Joy was a student there at one point, and at one point she was in a general ed classroom, but the pace was starting to get too fast for her. And she was getting frustrated, and I have this very distinct memory of Jocelyn FaceTiming me from her office with Joy, full fit, in her office. And Jocelyn was convinced I was the only one that could calm Joy down. I think really she just got tired, and I think she was buttering me up. But it worked. Yeah. So I hopped on the phone, and I'm talking to Joy, and I'm calming her down. And it happened more than once. And I was like, I can't do this every day. Like, we got to figure something out. And so what I decided is that we would just, because at that point, because she was at Jocelyn's school, she would go with Jocelyn to school. And I was like, before we leave the house, I'm just going to do a full-on pep rally. I mean, I'm finna run, scream, kick, jump, everything, backflip, whatever I can do to hype up the day. And we would say things like, are we gonna cry today? No. Are we gonna have any tears of crying? No. If you need help, what are you gonna say? I need help. Are you a Hobby? Yes. Do Hobbies quit? No. Hobbies don't quit. Let me hear it. And she would yell, Hobbies don't quit. Let me hear it one more time. Louder. Hobbies don't quit. I need to hear it one more time. And she would scream at the top of her lungs, Hobbies don't quit. And then that became our family motto. Hobbies don't quit. So when I graduated from Texas Wesleyan, Joy was right there like, yeah, that's right. Hobbies don't quit. My mom got a towel embroidered that said, Hobbies don't quit. And when Joy has been in class, it's so funny to watch now. Something will come up that frustrates her. She's like, I got tired, but Hobbies don't quit. I mean, she's 16 now. And for them, what it means to be a Hobby, I have to tell them now, like, Hobbies don't quit, but we know when to stop. Like, some things should just be let go. But at 16 now, the way that she sees the world is Hobbies don't quit.
You know what? We know what is precious in this conversation concerning your daughter. We were talking about grace. That moment that you went to God, and you were expressing to Him
truth.
You were just honest and open, and I think God gives grace. I mean, because grace is something that for a situation like that, we need God's grace. And for you to be in that situation where you just open up to Him and you're honest and you have your doubts and all this kind of stuff, and you present it to Him. And look what God has done.
For sure.
For
sure.
Beautiful.
It's important, I believe, that people to just bear their hearts to God. And stop. Just don't be religious. Just bear your heart.
For sure. When they were, when he and his line brothers were coming through Alpha, I used to always, you remember, what is humility?
Is living in the light of the truth.
There you go, my man.
Big brother, sir.
Living in light of the truth. But when you said it, you just brought that back. That's exactly right. That it wasn't, I was being honest. Like, I'm struggling, Lord. You got to help me with this. It was just living in light of the truth. It wasn't arrogance. It wasn't that I felt God owed me. I was communicating, I need you. And I don't know a world without you. So I'm trying to make sense of that world and this world. And I think you're right. I mean, the scripture said that He gives grace to the humble. And that humility sometimes is just, I'm falling apart. Help me here.
I'm falling apart. Help me here.
I mean, this is what the father did with the son with the epileptic seizures, right? I believe, but help my unbelief.
Man.
He was humble. He was
Yeah.
honest. He
Yeah.
brought
Yeah.
him
Yeah.
truth. And all things are possible to him who believes. He gives grace to the humble.
Yeah.
Yes, it does.
And he meets us where we are. And right there in that moment, I was like, I'm losing you.
Mm.
Yeah.
And I don't want to.
And
Yeah.
I think it's important for us to realize what the Christmas season is about. It's
Yeah.
really about him coming. You know, I think I read something where it said the incarnation is love wrapped in skin.
Yeah, man.
That's good.
So,
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
trying to keep my feet.
No, so just thinking about that, he knows how we feel. He knows
Yeah.
our infirmities, our emotions. He knows all that.
Hmm.
You know?
There are two things that come to mind immediately. Today, the sermon I preached um, began with the introduction of Turning Around for Me by Vashawn Mitchell. It won't always be like this. The Lord will perfect that concerning me sooner or later. It's going to turn in my favor. He's turning it around for me. I said the same thing, that the Christmas story, the entire Christmas story, is just about God turning it around for us. That marks the beginning of the turnaround.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when you said, reminded me of, I'd gone through a really difficult time at one of the churches that I had frequented. And I was serving, and there was this whole moment with in this revival service that we were invited to be a part of. They wanted us to be there, and there was all of this kind of talk around, like, bringing Joy up and praying for her and everything, the healing and all of that.
Amen.
And I was
Amen.
like, please just
Yeah.
don't.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and then we did. We got called up, picked Joy up out of her stroller at that time,
Jesus.
hold her up, and we gonna pray, and we did.
Yeah.
And then I had to put her back in the stroller.
Yeah.
And I remember at the time hearing someone saying the language like, we know that this is a process healing. And I was like, I don't even know what that means.
Yeah.
And I just was just devastated by it.
And
Right?
some people, I'm sorry, to
No,
interrupt.
no, no.
Some people, they do that for show.
Mhm.
Yeah.
The young lady, member of my church, she had a daughter, same situation. And before actually, I knew it before I started pastoring.
Yeah.
But you know, people will come through. You know, we're gonna pray, and God's gonna, heal. And I
Yeah.
just I want to take.
Just stop.
I
Because
just,
I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm going to have to, like everyone who called us forward, like y'all going to go home.
Mhm.
But I'm a carry Joy to the car.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
And then I'm going to have to hold her mom,
Yeah.
who's trying to figure out why did this happen again,
Yeah.
right? And I'm going to have to hold her till she goes to sleep.
Yeah.
And then I got to deal with what I'm dealing with in the ends,
Mhm.
right? And when you said about the incarnation, I remember, and I would have never guessed this would have happened, in seminary of all places. I was in a class, it was Christian Heritage, which is church history at Perkins School of Theology at SMU. My professor was Dr. James Lee. I love Dr. Lee for this to this day. And he talked to us about an ancient patristic principle. This is the church fathers.
Mhm.
The general idea is you cannot heal what you do not assume.
Mhm.
And what that meant for us, I love Dr. Lee's church history class because he approached it theologically, not just anthropologically. It was like Christ, to your point about the incarnation, is love wrapped in flesh.
Mhm.
Christ assumes flesh so that he can heal all flesh.
Mm.
And I remember being in class,
Yeah.
almost jabbing my thigh, choking back
Mhm.
tears.
Yeah.
Because for years I had been hurt by that experience.
Mhm.
And it wasn't until that moment in a seminary classroom that I finally felt healing from that moment. And hope came back again. That Christ, having taken on flesh, means that Christ will one day heal all
All
flesh.
Yeah,
Oh
Yeah.
man.
that's
Yeah.
amazing.
That's
Oh man. It changed everything, man. It
Yeah.
was like I had joy in the ministry again.
Yeah.
yeah.
That was a big deal because that was the same semester I had started pastoring. I'm like, ooh.
Yeah.
Mm.
And man, Dr. Lee gave me a gift. I told him that next semester was COVID. We were on a Zoom call. And I was like, man, you don't know what you did for me, man. And I got a chance to tell him, with tears in my eyes, I'm like, man, you saved, forget my ministry, you saved me
Mm.
Yeah.
by just the knowledge of this. And I'm like, it gave me a response to a world that I could not understand. That ultimately, he will wipe every tear from my eye.
Yeah.
Ultimately, he will heal all flesh. And
You know,
that, oh,
I know that there. Did you have a question?
I did, but
Oh, go ahead.
well, I was gonna say, like, it sounds to me that as you were walking through your life, that God was placing people in your life, unbeknownst to you, to help you to navigate through it, through some of those really
yeah,
difficult times.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
God was in front of you saying, he's gonna deal with this. I'm gonna put this person in
yeah,
place here, put this person in place here. As he walks through this, he's gonna have these encounters with these people
yeah,
that would almost be like shots in the arm of adrenaline to keep you going.
yeah,
You know what I mean? And I don't want to skip over that because we talked about today how God is with us in our issues, and he's with us with as we're living these lives and
yeah,
as we're walking through day by day. He's with us in it. He's not separated from it because he can relate to it. And
yeah,
that may be hard for some people to understand, but like I just see so much love for God with you and your family, especially in regards to joy and how he allowed certain people to
yeah,
come in contact with you to
sure,
help you to continue going. You know what I mean? And
yeah,
and to be and to be the best version of what not just what you needed, but what joy
joy
needed
needed,
as
yeah,
well. You know what I mean?
yeah.
And I don't want to skip over your question, Dad. Did you have something that you
Well,
want to say?
I don't know if this is the right time. We'll maybe answer later, but I
No,
know. But no doubt there are families, men that have children
yeah,
that have in these situations, and so you know, what would you say to a person that's struggling with this thing, man?
Yeah.
I mean, because
yeah,
it's really real, and then especially when you are in an environment where they're always talking about victory, faith,
yeah,
all this,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
and well, for them it's just the opposite.
yeah,
What would you
yeah,
say
And,
to them?
and maybe this would be a good place to talk about why you choose the wording that you choose
Yeah,
as pertains to
about unique
joy with
needs.
unique
yeah,
needs. Yeah, rather because most people say special needs,
Yeah,
but like you all choose, and I love that you do
yeah,
that. You choose unique needs. So like
yeah,
maybe talk about that
yeah.
too
That's
as
the first time
well.
I ever heard that.
yeah. I mean, it is. I mean, ultimately, because it is that, right? That there are just certain things that she needs assistance and help with.
Hmm.
Um, and she needs someone to walk alongside her with.
Yeah,
And I think part of it is just the language of special has been so used and categorized in a way that I think just creates a negative connotation,
Yeah.
hmm
um, almost like to be pitied. And
Hmm.
Joy is not to be pitied.
Correct.
She
yeah,
just needs help.
Correct.
yeah,
And so
Correct.
she just has a unique set of needs that are distinct, that are perhaps different from other students her age that don't have um, that are more able-bodied than she might be in a
hmm
given moment. And
Hmm.
so um, and I don't even know. I think I just at one point it started saying that, and it just stayed with me. And that has just been the way that I've seen it, is that she's fine. She just needs some help.
She needs
That's
some
it.
help. Yeah.
And as far as like with a person who's struggling with this, um, for all the different like names and titles and descriptors we would use for God. I do love having grown up in a Black church tradition, having the language of him being a bridge over troubled water, him being a rock in a weary land. I mean, I could run the gamut, and I do. It's always interesting in my church because not everybody has heard that language.
Yeah, because not everybody in your church looks like us.
Yeah. And so, but my favorite, I think to this day, and I think it's been this way since I was a child, my favorite name or descriptor for God is Emmanuel, that he is God with us.
Yeah.
John Wesley, the father of the Methodist movement, on his deathbed, those were some of his last words, is best of all, God is with us. Yeah. And if that's true, if God is with us, then that means God is for us. And if God be for us, what could possibly be against us? And I think I've had to learn the reality of God being with us. The way that I relate to it, I think most, is probably Psalm 23:4. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. When I think about that, the valley of the shadow of death is inevitable in this life. You will face those valleys. And it is a scary place. Yeah. The only reason why I have good reason to not be afraid is because of the company I keep with me in the valley. It is now the truth is. Come on. Now the truth is, the text says that I will walk through. Right. But when I think about that, it also means I will get through. Yeah. If he said we're going to the other side, we're going to the other side. That's right. And what makes it valuable, what makes it a journey worth traveling, and what makes it a journey that can be traveled free of fear is because he's with me in the valley. And for somebody who just wants the problem to be over, it may not sound like on the front end of the valley, it may not sound like God being with me is a big deal, but that might be because you haven't been through a valley. Yeah, man. If you've been in a place if you've ever been in a dark room, like a really, really dark room, you reach out to find the presence of something else. You're afraid when you can't feel a room around you, but if you can grab a hold of someone, it takes away the sting of the darkness. For sure. And to be able to know, not just acquiesce, but to accept and embrace the truth that in my darkest, worst valley, that God is with me, means I will get through the valley. And exactly like the song said, it won't always be like this. The Lord will perfect that concerning me sooner or later. Yeah. It's going to turn in my favor, and he's turning it around for me. And that I have hope. Going back to just this morning, because all that's true, because one day in the city of David, a Savior was born. That's everything, man. That's everything. And so if someone is going through this, if you can get to the place and scream, yell, rant, rave, do whatever you got to do, but if you can get to the place where you can see and accept that God is with you in this, there's going to be some hard days, but you can do it because we got a better end that's coming.
I like also what you said earlier about the time of you telling God what you're feeling like. You didn't get there overnight.
No, it was days.
The process.
Yeah, man. Like it was regular
Yeah.
in the car, in the driveway,
Yeah.
in front of the office, in the bathroom. Every time I felt myself falling, the way that I stood back up was by walking through that process.
Yeah.
And by
You just kept
practicing it.
moving.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
by rehearsing the truth,
Mm-hmm.
I was able to become proficient at the truth.
Rehearsing the truth. What do you mean by it?
Rehearsing the truth that all of that God exists,
Okay.
God can be trusted. I can trust every word, all things work together.
Gotcha.
And by practicing that,
Mm-hmm.
whatever we practice, we perfect. By
Yeah.
practicing that truth, I got to a point to where it was just breathing.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't anything I was trying to do. I just lived in the reality that God is with me and he's working all things out. And this is as much a part of the story. And I've gotten enough pages into the story to be able to see that it's worth where I've gotten
Yes,
to.
Mm-hmm.
And the truth of the matter is, if I could take the cerebral palsy away from Joy today, I'd do it in a heartbeat.
Mm-hmm.
But I would never take away the life that we have had.
Absolutely.
I cannot imagine my life at this point any differently than it is. And it is a blessing to be at the point not to thank God for the infirmity, but to thank God for the lessons learned through it.
For sure.
Things taking off right up now.
Yeah. We gotta let this breathe for a bit. So I have as we start to land this plane, there's three things that I want to cover, and I know that I'll cut what I'm saying right now. I'll cut this out. But there was one thing and we're gonna take a few steps back if that's okay with you.
Brother.
I know that we've hit some really, really significant points in the conversation, and I hate to take a step back, but I'm thinking about the folks that will watch this, and I want to say something to them that is helpful for them that may not be as theologically ingrained, right? I want to talk a little bit about, and I'll figure out where to put this, but I want to talk a little bit about your first daughter, Maya.
Yeah.
And what it was like, because you have a blended family, right? What it was like raising your daughter, getting married, and having your own kids with a different woman. A lot of men are trying to figure out how to navigate that, right? And we know our culture, we're gonna call it baby mama drama, this, that, and the other, trying to figure out how to navigate that.
Wow.
But that's I'm not gonna. It's not rare, but that's something that happens. Obviously, not just in our culture, but just in general.
Yeah.
Having a child with a partner, and the relationship doesn't work out, and you have to figure out how to co-parent.
Sure.
And Maya has been, from the outside looking in, she's been successful. She's been able to achieve a lot of different things. She's living her life and doing amazing things where she is, right? But also you have your family currently. I don't know the relationship that you have with Maya's mother, but can you talk about how you were able to navigate that and maybe still navigating it, and how you were able to find peace? Because I feel like men at the end of the day, most men that are in our right mind, bro, we just want peace.
Yeah, I just don't want no problem.
You know what I'm saying? So how were you able to do that? And then after that, I have a follow-up question that's a little more deeper, but we'll get to that at some point.
So mind you, Maya, again, she was born when I was 17. Her mother is about 2 years older than me. So her mom was in college. I was still in high school when Maya was born. And so when you're that young, there's a lot of rockiness.
For sure.
There was a lot that I didn't know how to do. I didn't know how to say. I didn't know how to articulate. And so we started off with challenges. We're fortunate. Maya's mother and I we actually grew up in the same church.
Okay.
So we both have, so Maya's grandfather is a minister. He still serves in ministry at a church in Houston. Um, so there were these foundational things. They were always at the bottom, but there was just a lot of rockiness, a lot of figuring out how to do. And then what didn't help is, well, what made the circumstances even more challenging is when I got married, we moved here. And so Maya's in Houston. And so there was a lot of figuring out, like when she'll come to Dallas and how we'll do that, how we'll exchange. A lot of meeting grandparents. And man, Buc-ee's was still is to this day is where we stop on the way to Houston. We will stop at Buc-ee's in Madisonville. But that's where I would meet them at different times, and then integrating. And I'm very big on, as far as I was concerned, when we had Joy and Jordan, those are Maya's sisters. It's not her half sisters.
Correct.
Yeah.
They're sisters.
Correct.
I was not going to make or influence her to call Jocelyn her mom, but she calls her S-mom.
Okay.
It was, I think, a double entendre of like super mom and stepmom.
Okay.
And so she still calls her S-mom. And I was very adamant about not forcing whatever relationship they would have.
Sure.
Whatever one they would have, they would cultivate. I wouldn't get in the way. And I wouldn't demand on either end. I wouldn't demand of Jocelyn, but Jocelyn was just like, that's Maya poo. And we started that.
So I don't mean to cut you off, but Jocelyn approached it not feeling threatened by Maya and your previous relationship.
No. And I mean, at our wedding, we started the foundation. At our wedding, there was a moment that we had a prayer for the blended family. Maya was one of the flower girls.
Yeah, okay.
And she came up. She stood between the two of us, held our hands. And then my youth pastor, who was then, at that point, the pastor of the church that my wife and I, when we were dating, were going to, John Hallman, he prayed for our family, for not just me, Jocelyn, and Maya, but for all of our family. And so it became a central part of our wedding ceremony, was that we would have a prayer for how we will now live this life and figure this life out together. I think that was important. It set some foundations. And we had bumps and bruises. We had moments. Eventually, Maya's mom got remarried, and not remarried, got married, and was starting to grow and build her family. And at the end of the day, some core things were Maya needs to have access to both families. And we've got to talk to be able to figure out how to do that.
Communicate.
So I would talk to I would call her mom's phone to talk to Maya, and I would hours. And you got a little girl. She ain't at the stage yet, but she's there. And she's gonna get worse. Just talking. Talking.
She's getting there.
About everything. I used to joke with Maya that I could, hey, put the phone down and just let her go. And I would be on the phone for hours, just listening to her talk about everything and nothing.
All the details.
Here's the interesting thing. With me not having a blueprint, because throughout the majority of the year, part of the primary way that we connected was through the phone. It taught me how to learn how to listen. It taught me how to be a girl dad. Because I wanted the kind of circumstance to where she would always feel comfortable talking to me. I prayed for her as a little girl that, like, Lord, like, give her a jovial spirit like mine. Let her, all these things. And I watched over the years God answer that prayer. And so now to this day, I talk to Maya's 25. I talk to her several times a week,
Mhm.
and we just on the phone.
Yeah.
And, there are times where like she'll call me and I'll be in a meeting and I'm like, I can't even pick up because I know if I pick up, we're gonna be on the phone 20 minutes. So I have
for
to
a
text
minute.
her like, hey, I'm calling you after this meeting.
Mhm.
And I don't know that we've been on a phone call unless I got interrupted that has been shorter than 45 minutes.
Mhm.
And again, at 25, somehow what ended up happening is that it kind of backfired. Like I became her girlfriend, which is a little weird. Right? We just
Because she
talk about everything. And there were things we would talk about that I was like, I'm gonna murder this dude.
Yeah.
And so, but we would, and when she's a member of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, I talked to her pretty much every night she pledged.
Yeah.
Um, and and we walked through. I mean, we have walked through so much together, and I've told her so many times. And as she got older, I would progressively reveal things about my life and me and her mom's life together, and all of the ins and outs of the relationship. And I was candid in a way that was appropriate for her age, progressively. But I've told her because we have now this unique experience that most fathers don't have. I graduated from undergrad the same semester she graduated from high school. So we have a picture of us both in cap and gowns because we're class of 2018.
Yeah.
When I graduated from seminary, she was graduating from college.
Yeah.
So we're class of 22 together.
Yeah.
So I have these wonderful pictures of us graduating together, right? And I have this wonderful experience of us like going through finals together.
Yeah.
And I've told her, our circumstance is so unorthodox, and it is not one that I would wish for other people to go through. But I can't deny the results that God has made something beautiful out of something challenging. Right? I've got beauty for ashes.
Yeah. How did you navigate the relationship between you and Maya's mother, but also you, Maya's mom, and Jocelyn, your wife? Like, what is that communication like? Because that can be a very difficult thing for a lot of guys.
The good thing is that like, again, like when Maya's mom and I broke up, like, again, I was in high school, she was in college. And by the time we got grown enough for that to matter, we had so long been broken up.
Okay.
And
which is almost a blessing.
It ended up being.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because a lot of, I don't mean to cut you off, bro, but a lot of times you see like co-parents that still have some ties to one another, and it's hard to let that go.
It was just, she got married to a great dude who's also a member of the greatest fraternity in the world, which is Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated.
Okay.
And so she got to build a wonderful life. So there wasn't like any of the like threat of like previous ties that were there. It really was just, how do we do this the best way for Maya? And that was the hard part, was figuring, because we weren't sharing a house together, is how do we see eye to eye on what's best? And we were first time parents learning how to do that.
Yeah.
We then also had other children, and so obviously not together, apart.
Sure.
Lord Jesus.
Yeah.
Clarify that. And so as a result, we grew into it. So by the time, as Maya's getting older, and then the like teen girl challenges are popping up, we're at least at the point to where we can talk together about whatever the next steps would be. And any challenges that we experienced together, we were able to be reasonable enough with one another to say, okay, I wasn't doing this. It was not this. Here's what it is. Now let's figure out how to move.
Yeah.
So we were just able to grow into that. And I think the core foundations of a life of faith, core foundations of prayer throughout the journey, help to smooth out whatever rough edges we experienced.
Mm-hmm.
And we're able to share when Maya was with me and there were things going on. I was able to share with her mom. When there were things going on with Maya, when Maya was with her mom was able to share with me.
Yeah.
And
That's a blessing.
it just worked.
Yeah.
It worked.
So we gotta land the plane here. We've been going for like 3 hours, man. It's crazy. I'm just making sure that everything's still recording.
Yeah.
Everything's still good.
Still
To bring things to a close, I would love for both of y'all, and I'll do this as well. When it comes down to like navigating life with kids and marriage and just everything that life presents us, right? All the responsibilities that men have to carry. I know that I'm able to do a little bit better because of conversations like these.
Sure.
And because of conversations I've been able to have with you, right? And like in my maturity, conversations I've been able to have with you as well,
Sure.
right? However, not a lot of guys are able to do that. But when it comes down to these conversations with our fathers, and I'm not trying to be dramatic. I'm really not trying to, but I'm asking this question because I know that there's guys that will watch this that wish that they could say certain things to their dads.
Sure.
If you could take a moment, what's something that both of you all would say to your fathers?
Ooh, man, what a question.
Yeah, that's. I'm just like, oh boy.
Like seeing
This is how you want to land the plane?
like seeing how God has blessed you all, right? And continually blessing you all. What's something that you all would say to your dads if they were sitting here at the table?
We would say to our dad?
Yeah.
Oh.
What would you say to
I'm
Walter?
gonna let you go
I'm
first.
gonna let you go.
Well, I'll do it this way. I know that's a heavy question. I'll start it. And I've said this before, Dad. Like, and we do this. I feel like this is almost becoming a formula for our podcast. Like, and if y'all think this is corny, keep scrolling. Okay. Like, we turn the cameras on because for me, selfishly, I wanted to document these opportunities with my father. Like, I was blessed to have you in my life, and like, it is what it is. Like, I'm going to tell you that you were a great dad. Like, you always have been, and I appreciate you. And I know that I was able to, calling back to that moment I had with Nuri, I was able to know and listen to her and build her up because I saw you do that with my sister. You know what I'm saying? And so, man, I'm grateful. I'm grateful, man. Like for real. Like the older you get, like the more that these opportunities mean so much to me.
Yeah.
And seeing just how faithful you've been, how much of an example you've been to me and to Mom, like how you've shown her love, and like I've been able to be fortunate enough to have a blueprint on how to figure it out. You know what I'm saying? Like we're figuring this out, man. We're figuring it out, and thankfully I've been able to have a little bit of help where a lot of guys don't have that. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm great for real. Like I'm grateful. It's not like this is our last episode ever, but like,
Yeah, I know.
like I want to make sure that like people know, like I appreciate my pops. You know what I'm saying? Like my dad was there, and he continues to be there, and I just want you to know I got love for you. So, yeah. My bad.
Yeah.
Respond to that.
Yeah, man. All right, senior.
So before I had my little emotional spill, the question is, if Walter was sitting here
Whew.
What would you say to my grandfather, your father?
No. So, talking to him,
Mm-hmm.
the first thing I would say is how much I miss him. Um, every now and then, I go to my office. I have a file with pictures,
Mm-hmm.
and I pull out his picture, and the only picture that I have of him is a driver's license.
Mm.
And I keep that picture because there are times that I miss him.
Yeah.
And when I think about him, um, I think about one of the greatest attributes that I can remember of him was that he loved me and he was patient with me. Um, and I realized that he was a protector of me. And I know that, um, and do I just, this is hard for me because if I'm talking to him, I would say, Dad, I know that you loved your family more than words could describe because you showed it. You know, you were a pastor, yet you worked at night. You were a janitor. You had dreams of of having your own business, and you did all this for your family. And I never forgot that. I never forgot the time when I was afraid, and I guess these pictures come to my mind when I got bit by a dog and I ran home to you and crying to you, and you, as tall of a man as you were, when my eyesight, you were tall and big, you went to that man's house and beat that dog with your fist as he was launching up at you, trying to bite you, but you beat him with your fist. And I was standing there looking at you, looking at my hero, looking
Yeah.
at my protector, looking at my daddy. Um, you sat me on your lap years ago, put your arm around me, and explained something to me that I was absolutely, I didn't understand. But you taking at that time and loving me is something I never ever forgot. Never forgot the time you loved mom. You swept her off her feet when grease popped in her face, and you picked her up, took her in the room, you doctored on her. You loved us, and I miss you. You, as I look back now, you are the greatest father. I couldn't ask for a greater one because of the way you were. Your legacy has affected all of your kids, especially your sons, because we have this thing for our wives because you were an example of what it was to love your wife and your family. And I appreciate you more than you know. I can't wait till the day comes when I see your face
Mm-hmm.
because I know, as Junior was saying, this is going to pass,
Yeah.
and I'm going to see your face. And I am envious to the fact that my second oldest brother has already seen you before me,
Hmm.
and I'm looking forward to the day that I see you and that you know that I love you more than words can describe. I've been through a lot with you not being here. I missed a lot with you not being here. I try to figure things out with you not being here. And a lot of times I've messed up, a lot of times I failed. But when I think of you, I knew for sure that you loved me and you were an example of what a father is. And so, because of you being an example, I'm able to pour into my son. And I love you more than words can describe. I'm looking forward to seeing you. This is hard.
Wow.
But this is the truth.
Wow.
I'm looking forward to seeing you. In fact, I was thinking about it today when I woke up this morning. What is it going to be like when I see you?
Mm.
I know people say we know you're going to see Jesus. I get that, but I want to see your face. I want to wrap my arms around you and tell you just how much I love you. And I do love you and appreciate everything you've done, even when I didn't understand at my young age. But now I do. You the man.
Mm.
You the man. I love you.
I don't know how to follow that. I love it. Mm. Oh shoot, I forgot. I was just letting it burn.
It ain't no pressure. Thank you, Dad.
That was
That's good.
hard. It's just,
That's such an interesting question. It's, I was telling your dad when you walked out that in all of the years of knowing and realizing and even embracing the reality of my father being gone, I've never actually thought about what I would say if I got a chance to sit with him. I mean, he's been gone 40 years now this year. And in those 40 years, it has never occurred to me what I might actually say if he was sitting with me. And like I said earlier, I've gone to his grave as an adult over within the last couple of years, a handful of times, and I've like shared, like when I graduated from college, I shared with him that I graduated from college and that I was getting ready to pledge alpha, and you know, my girls were doing well, and that Maya had just graduated from high school. And when I went for my great uncle's funeral earlier this year, I went by again and I had a talk with him. But it has never occurred to me what I would say if he were sitting with me. I think I would probably start by saying sorry about that time I messed up the VCR. Put a slice of cheese in the VCR. I was trying to be like him. I saw him put tapes in the VCR, and this is when this was like high technology at the time.
Yeah, VCR, yeah.
And it was like brand new, and so I just had a piece of cheese and slid it in the VCR too. And it was the only time. My mom was the one who would be ready to spank us quick. My dad would like run us out the house, but my mom would get up. At that time, it turned. So sorry about the VCR. But I think I would probably begin with, I hope that he's proud of me. One of the biggest challenges of going through life is in some sense like chasing a shadow, like working in a way that I hope makes him proud, knowing I will never actually hear him say that he is. And so there's something Sisyphean about that, of just pushing a rock up a hill. Sisyphus, stop it.
we had to look at each other. We did it at the same time.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. I promise I had two whole degrees. I'm struggling to keep up. But
you know, the legend of Sisyphus is a person that's doomed to push a rock up a hill that he can never actually get over the hill.
Understood.
And so I know there's a part of me that's doing that I'm chasing something that I can never accomplish. And still, it drives me. But I hope that he's proud. Similar to what your dad said, there was a lot that I missed, and a lot that I struggled through, and a lot that I've watched my brothers struggle through. Um, since he's been gone, I've watched my older brother uh, work hard to walk as close to his footsteps as possible. Um, I've watched my younger brother, because he's the one that looks the most like him. I've watched him kind of struggle, I think, with acceptance, because I think as children he might have associated him looking like my dad as pain for people. So I've all kinds of different things of just, not knowing, I had a child as early as I did because I didn't really have the accountability that I would have with the father to figure out how to manage that part of my life with dating and even engaging in sex and everything that young. I didn't have him to talk to through that. And I watched myself in the early parts of college again try to be something that I wasn't, but I think part of that too is that I didn't have something to lean back on to remind this is not you. I mean, I had my mom, and my mom was incredible, um, but it is different. Um, having a male who is gone before you, who is interested in your well-being, that can tell you the truth about yourself and to remind you of who you are and who you're meant to be. And so there's a lot that we lost not having him. But if I were talking to him, I would tell him that I've tried to be the best version of a son and a father and a husband that I could be, thinking about him. Um, I don't know if there are very long periods of time, even now, that I still don't think about you. Um, and I think I would probably just want him to tell me everything. I mean, every experience, everything that he learned, everything. I would just want to know everything that I could know. I would want to live in his skin through him. Because there's just so much about that I don't know. And I would love to figure out the ways that he and I are alike and what that side of my family's history is. Um, but but also it is perhaps the most resounding reality of a life of faith that I have is to know that one day I will see him. And that I will know him in a way that I could never know him on this side. It is probably, I don't know if it's a good thing or not, but it is probably the thing that gives me the most hope, and that has kept me the most tethered to life with God, is that uh, one day we will see each other face to face. And I'll be able to sit and hear his voice and hear his laugh. I'd be curious to know, if I heard his voice, if it would ring a bell, because I don't have a sense of that in my mind now. Um, but ultimately, more than anything that I would want to say to him, I would just want to hear as much from him as possible. I would love to be able to sit at his feet, um, and to walk in his shoes and to experience life through his eyes. And so, and at the end of the day, I would just hope to hear those words: "I'm proud of you, son." That 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 is a, what's the words? There is a melancholy joy that I have, um, just in the hope of hearing I am proud of you, son.
Wow.
I've worked hard to do that for my mom, to live in a way that makes her proud. Um, but I hadn't heard those words from Willie Lee Hobdy Jr. And that day, I'm not in a rush to get there. But that day, I'm looking forward to. And really, the only thing that I would want to say is that I love you. And one of the greatest joys of my life is that I'm your son.
Yeah. So what I'm gonna do is just pour a little bit here. Pour a little bit here. Julian, I know you already got something in your cup, but I would like to end this amazing episode.
Yeah, I'll do this.
There you go.
Got my medicine ball.
I want to end this with a toast. But before I do that, I want to thank both of you all for even engaging and being as honest and transparent. Because it could be painful. It could be, for some people traumatizing. But I know and I'm confident that these conversations will help somebody. And that's what a little R&R is really all about at the end of the day.
Well, and can I say to the both of you, thank y'all for constantly letting me eavesdrop on these conversations. I love hanging out with y'all. I do. I love hanging out with every time I get a chance to be with the both of you. It is a joy for me, and it is. It brings me so much joy to be able to see y'all together, to be able to experience just watching this. I said this to some of the bros yesterday, that we need these kind of stories in a world with all kinds of craziness all the time.
Yeah.
The whole world needs a little R&R, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
And so I'm so grateful to you and to you and to y'all's family for embracing me and allowing me to be a part of this. It does more for me than I can even express.
Wow. We appreciate you, bro.
Yeah,
man, it's my pleasure.
We were looking forward to this day.
Oh, man.
For this moment.
No, I'm just glad I'm not sitting behind the camera in the chair this time.
Right. Hey, speaking of, we need some sponsors. Okay. We need a little bit of help.
Uncle Nearest, Fawn Weaver, go ahead. Please.
Situation. Just trying to make this work. So, we can use some help. But man, cheers. Cheers to fatherhood. Cheers to manhood. Cheers to all the things that come along with this life. And cheers to God knowing what he's doing.
Yeah, right.
Here.
Yeah.